Well, the cat is well and truly out of the bag. Let's begin. Just as it seems that it's almost certain that Keir Starmer might unfortunately be entering Downing Street in just over a month's time, something has just come out to ruin those chances completely. And yes, I know Rishi has made a few gaffes of his own. I mean, let's face it, leaving D-Day wasn't exactly the brightest of ideas, was it, eh? Well, what's happened with Labour isn't actually a gaffe at all. It's a leak, and a major one which could ruin their chances, because the article says a senior Labour figure has told a Mallorca newspaper that, wait for this, freedom of movement is paramount to the party. Well, that didn't take them very long, did it? And presumably they think that just because the paper is based in Mallorca, that we somehow wouldn't find out. Well, sorry, bad luck, Labour. And surely now, whilst Keir Starmer has previously said that, yes, I accept Brexit, after I guess previously tried to overturn it by campaigning for a second referendum, but now, of course, his party's intentions are just plain to see, aren't they? This will end up more than likely take us back into the EU via the back door, and therefore, of course, reverse Brexit if such a thing was allowed to happen. Surely, because how long will it actually be before they say, well, we've allowed free movement? How about we go towards a single market and re-enter the customs union, and therefore all our best poke trade deals are surely going to be wiped out, aren't they? Well, I guess anyway. And of course, the comments have sparked concern from major Tory grandees, and basically all of us, I guess, who said that the freedom of movement for Brits would mean the same or similar rights for EU nationals. So who's the person who leaked all this out? Is that Angela Rayner? Wouldn't that be funny, eh? No, it's someone called Fiona Urquhart, who pronounced that right, the chair of Labour International. Apparently they're a group in charge of getting British expats to vote for Sir Keir Starmer's party. Told a Mallorcan local newspaper the party is being cautious. It's not making too many bold announcements because, should it come to power, it does not know what it's going to be faced with. But I can't stress enough that is well aware of many of the problems facing Britons overseas, especially in the EU. And should Labour win the next election, it is prepared to revisit some of the Brexit agreements, such as the Windsor Agreement, to make it easier for Britons to come and go in Europe. So there we go. This whole crap that Rishi started off with, the whole Windsor framework, which was meant to solve everything in his eyes, but in many people's eyes, including mine, actually shackles us to the EU through Northern Ireland, is presumably going to be spread across the whole of the UK, thereby meaning that surely the EU is going to have much more of a say on basically everything, I guess. I mean, I do hope I'm wrong with that, but of course, something tells me I'm not, because it says here that restoring that freedom of movement is paramount, and a meeting to discuss the trade and cooperation agreement has already been agreed on for 2026, so presumably Labour have been planning this for quite some time, I'm guessing. And she added that the Labour Party has made it clear that it wants to see a greater level of freedom of movement within the EU for Britons, in particular for professionals and trade. Well, the thing is, surely they want that reciprocated, and also professionals could cover quite a broad amount of people. I mean, if you work in retail, and let's face it, you're probably a professional salesman, and if you're a traffic warden, well, you're probably a professional bellend, eh? But senior Tories have said that the comments are evidence that Labour wants to take Britain back into the EU through the back door. So who are these senior Tories? Well, one of them is Sir Ian Duncan Smith. He told the Mail on Sunday this is stage 1, 2 and 3 of re-entering the European Union, and that the EU has made it absolutely clear that it is not prepared to allow freedom of movement solely for British citizens, and that this would have to be a new negotiation. What Labour are running is a subterranean pro-EU campaign which will surface the day after the election day, and I personally think he's right. Labour have always seemed very keen on immigration, haven't they? They've also seemed very keen on basically overturning the 2016 referendum and presumably hoping that we'd rejoin the EU, and therefore, of course, giving all our money to them, I guess. And the thing is, like he says here, most Labour MPs will vote for it, and it will be re-entry through the back door. The former Brexit Secretary, David Davis, also apparently said, you won't get any free movement solely for Brits. This is a lie. Nonsense. The trade-off will be going back to full free movement. So two senior people in the Conservatives have said this. It just makes me wonder how soon either others will follow. Nigel Farage will hopefully say something soon, and if it isn't true Labour, well, why didn't you say something about it yourself, eh? And say, no, just like Keir Starmer did when Rishi was accusing him of this 2,000 tax cost for every household, which he said was a load of rubbish. I myself am not so sure though, because let's face it, Labour do have to pay for their policies somehow, don't they? And David Davis even says here that if this is a Labour policy, they should say it so loud and clear, not speak to a Mallorca newspaper. At the very least though, now that something like this has come out, if there was any intention of doing it, hopefully Keir Starmer will actually switch his brain on and think, do you know, I better do another U-turn and cancel this policy altogether, because if he doesn't, then he is a total penis, in my opinion.